A hot cup of coffee flies across the busy Starbucks cafe. People gasp as the coffee hits a man wearing a red MAGA hat. The hot liquid drips down his jacket while other customers pull out their phones to record. The angry barista behind the counter shouts, "Take your MAGA hate somewhere else." But what happens next leaves everyone shocked and speechless. The manager runs out from the back room looking scared. His face turns white as he sees the man covered in coffee. "Sir, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were visiting today," he stammers. The other customers stop recording and look confused. Who is this man that made the manager so nervous? And why is everyone suddenly so quiet? How did a normal day at Starbucks turn into such a dramatic scene? Who is this mysterious customer that the barista just attacked? If you want to know what happens next in this shocking story and how it all started, then make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Now let's go back to how this all started. It was just another busy afternoon at the local Starbucks. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air as customers waited in line, chatting and checking their phones. The baristas were working their usual rhythm, taking orders and making drinks without any signs of the drama that would soon unfold. That's when he walked in, a tall man in a business suit, carrying a brown leather briefcase. He looked like any other customer, except for one thing, a bright red MAGA hat sitting boldly on his head. As soon as he entered, the atmosphere in the cafe shifted slightly. Some customers glanced up from their laptops, while others whispered to their friends. The man didn't seem to notice or mind the attention. He calmly joined the line, occasionally checking his email on his phone. 3 people stood ahead of him, but he waited patiently, just like any other customer would. The line moved forward slowly as the young barista behind the counter served each person with a cheerful smile. But when the man in the MAGA hat reached the counter, that friendly smile vanished instantly. The barista's whole demeanor changed, her welcoming expression replaced with a cold stare. "Welcome to Starbucks," she said, but her voice carried none of its usual warmth. The man either didn't notice or chose to ignore her tone. "I'd like a large hot coffee, please," he said politely, reaching for his wallet. The barista's fingers gripped her marker tightly as she held it above the cup. "Name?" she asked sharply. Before he could even finish saying his name, she had already scribbled something on the cup and turned away to make his drink. Other customers could feel the tension building. The barista's movements were angry and rushed as she prepared the coffee. Her co-workers noticed too. One even tried to catch her eye, sensing something wasn't right. But she ignored them all, focused entirely on the customer in the MAGA hat. Her hands were shaking with anger as she finished making the drink. Instead of calling out his name or order number like usual, she just stood there, staring at him with growing hostility. The cafe had grown quieter now, as if everyone could sense what was about to happen. Then, without warning, everything exploded. The barista suddenly grabbed the hot coffee and threw it straight at the customer, screaming, "Take your MAGA hate somewhere else! We don't serve your kind here!" The steaming liquid hit him right in the chest, soaking his suit and splashing onto his face. The entire cafe froze in shock. Customers gasped, some backing away from the counter. Nobody could believe what they had just witnessed. In just a few seconds, a normal coffee shop visit had turned into something that would change many lives forever. The hot liquid dripped down his expensive suit, creating dark stains across his chest. Several drops had splashed onto his MAGA hat, turning the bright red fabric into a darker shade. Time seemed to slow down as everyone watched the coffee drip onto the floor, creating a growing puddle around his polished shoes. Some customers had their phones out now, already recording what was happening. Others stood with their mouths open, coffee cups frozen halfway to their lips. A mother quickly covered her young child's eyes, while an elderly man shook his head in disappointment. This wasn't just another day at Starbucks anymore. This was the moment everything would change. The entire cafe froze in shock. Customers gasped, some backing away from the counter. Nobody could believe what they had just witnessed. In just a few seconds, a normal coffee shop visit had turned into something that would change many lives forever. What happened next surprised everyone in the cafe. The man stood there, coffee dripping from his expensive suit, creating a dark puddle around his polished shoes. Instead of shouting or causing a scene, he remained perfectly calm. His steady voice cut through the shocked silence. "Could you please get your manager?" The barista's adrenaline-fueled confidence made her laugh. "Oh, sure, you want to complain? Go ahead." She gestured dramatically around the cafe. "Everyone here saw you come in with that hat. Everyone knows what that means." Her voice echoed through the now silent store. But something in the customer's calmness made her slightly uneasy. A customer near the window was already dialing 911, speaking quietly into their phone about an assault. 3 more people had their phones out, recording everything. The smell of spilled coffee filled the air as steam rose from the man's soaked clothing. Behind the counter, other workers exchanged panicked glances. One barista disappeared into the back office, while others stepped away from their co-worker, creating a visible distance. They could sense something wasn't right about this situation. The manager burst through the back door, his face already pale. He took one look at the coffee-soaked customer and froze mid-step. "Sir, I didn't realize you were visiting our location today," he stammered, voice trembling. His hands shook violently as he grabbed a stack of clean towels. The way he acted, the way he spoke, it was clear this wasn't just another angry customer. The barista's confident smile started to fade. She had never seen her manager act this way before, not even during their worst complaints. Other employees were frantically checking their phones, whispering to each other, and suddenly several of them gasped all at once. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife as everyone waited to see what would happen next. Something big was about to unfold, and the whole cafe could feel it. The manager, still holding the towels, was trying to form words. Finally, his voice trembling, he managed to stammer, "Mr. Johnson, sir, I'm so sorry. We had no idea the CEO would be visiting today." The moment those words left his mouth, the entire atmosphere in the store changed. Even the usual hum of coffee machines seemed to go quiet. "CEO?" The barista's voice cracked as she repeated the word. The color drained from her face as she realized who she had just assaulted. This wasn't just another customer with a MAGA hat. This was Kevin Johnson, the head of the entire company. The same company that had employed her for the past 3 years. The same company whose paychecks kept her rent paid. The same company that could end her career with a single phone call. Through the window, red and blue lights started flashing. 2 police cars pulled up outside, their sirens silenced, but lights painting the cafe walls in alternating colors. A third police car joined them, its presence making the situation even more serious. The barista started backing away from the counter, looking desperately at her co-workers, but they all kept their distance. Her hands trembled as reality crashed down. In just a few devastating minutes, she had gone from feeling like a hero to realizing she had made the biggest mistake of her life. The security cameras blinked silently in the corners, their red lights a constant reminder that everything had been recorded. Several customers were already posting live updates. "Starbucks barista assaults CEO." One person typed, their fingers flying across their phone screen. The incident was spreading across the internet faster than the coffee had spread across the CEO's suit. Starbucks CEO was already trending on Twitter. 2 more managers rushed out from the back office looking horrified. They frantically apologized, offering everything from free drinks for life to their own car keys. But the CEO just raised his hand quietly, silencing them all. His calm demeanor made the situation even more intense. The whole cafe held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The sound of police boots approaching the front door echoed through the silent store. If you were in this situation, how would you react? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep supporting us. Within hours, the video went viral. News channels picked up the story, playing the shocking coffee-throwing clip on repeat. Breaking news. Starbucks barista assaults CEO over MAGA hat flashed across screens nationwide. Social media exploded with millions of views, shares, and heated debates about politics in the workplace. The company's phone lines were flooded with angry calls. People from both sides of the political spectrum demanded action. Some called for an immediate boycott of Starbucks, while others praised the CEO's calm response. The Starbucks incident and MAGA coffee started trending on every platform. Starbucks's PR team quickly released an official statement. "We deeply regret this incident and want to make it clear that discrimination of any kind has no place in our stores. We are taking immediate action to address this situation." But the public wanted more than just corporate words. They demanded real consequences. The barista's social media accounts were flooded with messages. Some people called her a hero, while others demanded she face criminal charges. Her name and photo appeared on news websites. Local reporters camped outside her apartment, hoping to get a comment. Her life had completely changed in less than 24 hours. Meanwhile, at Starbucks headquarters, emergency meetings were called. The board of directors gathered to discuss how to handle this PR crisis. But the CEO had his own plans. Instead of hiding behind corporate statements, he decided to take a more personal approach to the situation. He called a press conference, but not to announce the barista's firing, as everyone expected. Standing at the podium, still wearing a MAGA hat, he surprised everyone with his words. "Today, we have an opportunity. Not for punishment, but for growth. Not for division, but for understanding." The reporters leaned forward in their seats, cameras flashing. Nobody had expected this response from a CEO who had just been publicly assaulted. But as he continued speaking, his unusual approach started making headlines of its own. This wasn't going to be just another story about workplace politics. It was becoming something much more meaningful. Back at the original store, employees gathered around their phones, watching their CEO's speech live. The same customers who had witnessed the incident were sharing the press conference on their social media. Everyone waited to hear what consequences would follow, but nobody could have predicted what the CEO would announce next. The media circus grew bigger by the hour. Conservative news channels painted the incident as an attack on political freedom, while liberal outlets focused on workplace discrimination. Political commentators debated endlessly about the deeper meaning behind the coffee attack. Everyone seemed to have an opinion about what should happen next. Outside Starbucks stores across the country, protesters gathered with signs. Some wore MAGA hats in solidarity, while others supported the barista's actions. Store managers struggled to keep their locations running normally as camera crews set up outside, hoping to catch similar incidents on film. The company's stock price started fluctuating wildly as investors worried about potential boycotts. Market analysts appeared on financial news networks, discussing how this incident could impact Starbucks' quarterly earnings. Some predicted a major drop in sales, while others believed the CEO's handling of the situation might actually boost customer loyalty. On social media, the hashtag Boycott Starbucks competed with the hashtag StandWithStarbucks for the top trending spot. Celebrity tweets about the incident went viral, adding fuel to the already blazing fire. The simple act of throwing coffee had somehow turned into a national debate about political tolerance and workplace rights. While social media continued to explode with debates, real-world consequences were already in motion. Police officers pushed through the crowd of people, still recording with their phones, responding to multiple 911 calls about the assault. The barista's smug expression vanished as they led her out in handcuffs, right past the customers who had witnessed her attack. Starbucks' response was equally swift. She was fired on the spot. No warnings, no second chances. The company's legal team immediately filed charges, ensuring this incident would haunt her employment record for years to come. In court, the judge showed no sympathy. She was fined $5,000 for assault and ordered to pay for the CEO's ruined Italian designer suit. The judge added 100 hours of community service, sending a clear message that politically motivated attacks wouldn't be tolerated in the workplace. Her face became infamous across news channels and social media. Future employers would see this incident with one quick Google search. One moment of anger had completely destroyed her career prospects. The CEO didn't need to make any grand statements or decisions. The legal system handled everything. Local businesses started putting up "No Politics" signs in their windows. Other coffee shops trained their staff on handling political tensions. The incident became a warning story, shared in employee training sessions across the country. Even months later, whenever someone wore a political hat into a coffee shop, people would whisper, "Remember that Starbucks barista? Actions have consequences," was his only comment in a brief press release. "We have zero tolerance for violence in our stores, regardless of political views." This incident wasn't just about coffee or politics. It was about how a single moment of anger can destroy everything you've worked for. The barista lost her job, faced criminal charges, and became an internet sensation for all the wrong reasons. Her split-second decision to throw that coffee didn't just ruin her career, it made her infamous nationwide. Some people tried to make her a political hero, others called her a villain. But in the end, she was just someone who let anger take control. The security cameras caught it all. The moment she chose violence over professionalism, hate over service, those few seconds of footage will follow her forever, showing up whenever someone searches her name. The incident became a warning story in customer service training. "Think before you act," trainers would say, showing that viral video. Your next customer could be anyone. As for Starbucks, they updated their policies, making it clear that political views don't matter. Violence means immediate termination, no exceptions. Sometimes the biggest lessons come from the worst mistakes. But these lessons don't always need a happy ending to teach us something important. What would you do if you were in this situation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.